Hey, Mitch.
Hey Ed, how's it going?
Yeah, good, good. I thought we'd cruise the streets of Modesto, just to see what's out there.
Sounds cool, Ed. Sounds cool. Just like American Graffiti, buddy.
Hey, yeah, did you know that's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year?
Oh wow, 50 years. No, I
Yeah.
did not, man. That's awesome. Hey,
Hmm.
watch out, Ed. Red light.
By the way, why do they call it American Graffiti?
I don't know. Green light.
I think I just ran over a Wookiee.
Let's just start the show.
Hi, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Daddy O'Halleck.
And welcome to another exciting episode of Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure. Before we begin our topic, Mitch, how can you find out a little bit about what we do here at the IndieCast?
Oh, Ed, it is easy as going down to Paradise Road and having a drag race against Bob Falfa. All you got to do is smash the like button down below and hit the subscribe button. And you too could be joining Mitch and Ed on our next excellent adventure as we peel off down into the world of nostalgia and grabbing at all the goodies that is made to offer. Where are we going today, Daddy-O?
Well, groovy man. We are going to Petaluma, Modesto. We are going to 1962. Where were you in 1962? I wasn't around.
Sperm yet. I wasn't born.
Well, neither was I. But we're going back to American Graffiti, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. 5-0.
Yes.
It's not the first Lucasfilm production, but it is the first.
It's the first good one.
Oh,
let's be real
check
about
out,
it.
remember,
THX.
please check out our THX 1138 special. You know, they say Jaws is the first blockbuster, but I reckon this actually is. This opened the path to blockbuster movies. It was pretty much an independent film. $777,000 roughly budget, and it grossed about $150 million. It was a huge success, and I have got the review here. So shall we quickly read through it?
Do it. Do it.
Okay, hang on. I'll take my glasses off. Oh my God. A right-on portrait of American youth culture shown through the experiences of some high school seniors on their threshold of leaving for college or military service in the early 60s. There's very little plot, but this landmark film sparkles with nostalgic atmosphere and hilarious dialogue. The story involves a memorable night of chasing girls, racing cars, harassing the cops, and hanging out at the local drive-in restaurant. The production enhanced the career of director George Lucas. Cast also includes Cindy Williams, Charles Martin Smith, and Candy Clark. You could also spot Harrison Ford and Susan Summers. Now, it did have a number of Academy Award nominations. Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress for Candy Clark, and a best story and screenplay based on factual material or material not previously published for George Lucas, Gloria Katz, and Willard Hayek.
Yeah.
4 stars.
4. That's a glowing review.
It is. Now, did you see it in the movies?
Yes, I did.
Really?
Yeah, but not when it originally came out. I saw it in 1977 after Star Wars came out. They did a reissue of American Graffiti, and they're like, before Star Wars, see George Lucas in his first blockbuster directorial debut, American Graffiti. Now, I went to the theater and saw it, and I was like, oh, I loved it. But at that time, I watched it. I said, oh, look, it's Richie Cunningham and Shirley Feeney, and they're in a movie here. What's going on? And of course, those characters are from Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. But when this movie came out, that didn't exist yet. This was before Gary Marshall brought us the 50s on our TVs with Fonzie and everybody.
It was. In fact, they had done, I think, Love American Style?
Love American Style. There was a pilot.
Yeah. They did a pilot, and then they shelved it. And then this came out.
Yep.
And, of course, it was a huge hit. And then they re-examined that pilot and did it as a series. So it's sort of weird how it sort of... We watched it last night on Blu-ray, and the funny thing, not the funny thing is, you're sort of going, okay, like it's half Happy Days, it's half Laverne and Shirley, Grease, there's elements of Grease, Paul Lamatt's character, John,
John Milner.
heavily influenced the Fonz,
Yep.
his character. There's some, it's just a great, what do you call it? Not an anthology cast, but a great cast of characters.
Ensemble
cast. It is. And everyone is fantastic. Ron Howard, Richard Dreyfuss as Kurt. You've got Paul Lamatt, Charles Martin Smith as the Toad. Harrison Ford as Bob Falfey.
Bo Hopkins is in it. Oh my goodness!
As the leader of the Pharaohs, which is which is quite a funny thing. Mackenzie Phillips, Candy Clark,
Wolfman Jack.
Wolfman Jack, and playing himself. He's quite a good actor, actually. Also Flash Cadillac and the Continental Kids, who provided the music at the sock hop.
Johnny Weissmuller Jr.'s in it too.
Yes, and Kathleen Quinlan, who you'll remember from
and Mary Kay Place, who was an actress that years later would write episodes of MASH and be on Mary Hartman. She's the girl that's in the car with Harrison Ford that goes, "Ain't he neat?" That's Mary Kay Place. Yes.
Now I've got my only connection with American Graffiti. I never saw it at the movies because I was too young. I was 3 when it came out. But I did see it, I think, when it came out on VHS. It came out in Australia the year later. And, of course, there was more American Graffiti, but we won't be able to speak about that. Everyone returned apart from Richard Dreyfuss in that. And most people think it's a flop, but it actually made it. I think it cost $3 million and it made $13 million. So it actually did okay, but nowhere near as well as the original.
No, it was a downer of a movie, but there's some really sweet parts to it. I mean, and you got Scott Glenn in it too. There's a couple good performances in it. Yes. Harrison stuff,
So I never saw it in the movies, but I remember having the double album of it, and that was one of the main reasons that they were thinking of not. They shopped it around to so many film studios. No one wanted this film, and they were going, "Oh, it's going to be wall to wall music. You know how expensive that is going to be." And they were actually they actually negotiated for all the music, all the 41 tracks, to $90,000 for all the royalties.
I know.
But did you notice there's one musical act that is really missing from that? Which one?
Bill Haley and the Comets?
No, that opens it.
What's missing?
The King, Elvis Presley.
Was he on the original soundtrack?
Well, they wanted to have him, but the rights were too expensive.
Oh no, I didn't know that. I'll tell you what, I had the soundtrack on cassette.
Yes.
The 41 songs, and then they had another one like more American Graffiti. It's not the movie, but maybe they did 2 soundtrack albums.
They did. They'd released
because
like a volume 2.
Yeah, volume 2, because there was a lot of good music on that thing. And I think Lucas invented the needle drop, which is this term you hear all the time now, where to set the mood, they just put some music in the background and people go, "Oh, that's set here and that's set here," and that kind of brings the atmosphere to the show. But
I know.
You're right. One continuous soundtrack.
Yeah, well, Ron Howard in the audition, he goes to George Lucas, "Look, I can't sing." And he goes, "What's that got to do with it?" And he goes, "Well, my agent said it's a musical." And George Lucas said, "Well, it is a musical, but you're not actually singing." And that's one of that, and I think Easy Rider just had wall-to-wall sort of music, and because of the $90,000 royalties, they couldn't afford an orchestra or someone to compose a score. But it works. It sets the scene, and I've got to say the production design, the sound design by Walter Murch, is amazing. I've been lucky enough to be on the corner. I'll put up a picture now. On the corner where Bob Falfer in Petaluma, and
I would go ahead.
I was just going to say that Petaluma still looks pretty much like it did in the 1960s.
I was going to say, because I went to Rancho Obi-Wan, which is where Steve Sansweet has the biggest Star Wars museum in the world. And it's near Petaluma. And I remember driving to there and I'm like, wait a second, why do these streets look so familiar to me? And then I realized it was the streets from American Graffiti, because they didn't go to Modesto. They used that as the background, because Modesto is the actual birthplace of George Lucas. And there is a statue dedicated to cruising. If you go to Modesto, there's a thing of George Lucas there, a guy and a girl and a car behind him as well. No, it's a great movie. It's a fun movie. It's got 4 stories going on at once. Like we said, we've got Kurt about to go off to college. We've got Ronnie Howard and Cindy Williams about to, break up or not break up. And then we got the whole drag race going on, but Bob Falfa trying to challenge John Milner, who's the fastest in the valley.
Yeah.
And then we got the Toad and his mysterious date with Debbie.
And these are all sort of elements of George Lucas.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
going to be a writer. He doesn't know if he should stay behind and, working his dad. Hot rodder. Yeah. Yeah. They're all elements. And the nerd, which he was also a nerd. And, and he loved fast cars. And the whole legend of George Lucas is, a couple days before graduation, he wrapped his car around a tree, almost died in a horrible car crash.
Yep. Because there's that famous picture of his car wrapped around a tree, and it says something like Modesto teen
survives
from wreckage or something like that, because he wasn't wearing seatbelts. Yeah. So the one.
Oh, I thought it was because he had the seatbelt, because he had like a race car.
I thought it was because he wasn't. He was actually thrown from it, and that's
really? Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. I thought it was the opposite, because I know he like customized the car to have like that, like a race car driver.
Yes.
Whatever. But no, he had, I mean, like you said, the car crash at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for a 50-year-old movie. I just think like all this stuff is going on through his head. But I remember when it was done with Francis Ford Coppola's Zoetrope Films.
Yes.
Or studios. And they said that they were trying to pitch this as like almost like a National Geographic mating rituals of teenagers in the United States. You know what I mean? Because this is like what they do when they go out and they like, flirt with each other and, race cars and show off. Like,
you know what I was saying to Kelly while we were watching it? You know what? In the cars were essentially what mobile phones are to teenagers today, where they drive around and they'd share stories in there, or they'd shout out from, while they're slow driving and everything like that. And it does have a documentary feel to it. And that's what he was trying to capture, because I think the performances are so natural, and, not a lot happens. But what I like is that, basically George Lucas was saying after THX sort of pretty much tanked at the box office, where that was that grim reality of being a drone and all this, and with the Vietnam War, he wanted a sort of a something to counter that, think about, nostalgia was big, we obviously with Happy Days and everything like that.
Well, it was only
Sha Na Na. Remember, everyone was looking back.
But 1973, we're only talking like 10 years earlier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you made a movie now about 2012, I don't think people be that nostalgic, because it doesn't seem to really change that much. But there was such a monumentous change in society from the 50s to the 70s. Through the whole Vietnam War and the whole
JFK assassination,
JFK race riots, and all the things that have happened in that 10-year period. Like, you go from the Beatles to like Woodstock, and it's like, Elvis. I mean, it's a very I don't know what's the word I want to look for, a traumatic 10, 12 years. Mm-hmm. So the people that go back and see just before everything turned to poop, this is how it was, because the Toad's going to get killed in Vietnam War. Milner's going to get killed in a drunk driving car.
I know that ending was a little sad. And I know that
it was sad. I remember when I saw that, I was like, oh, Milner died.
Yeah, I think
it didn't exist.
They did change that for more American Graffiti. When they did a re-release, because they re-released the film with I think it was The Sting. They brought it out as a double feature, and then later on they re-released it, and they changed the date from June 64 to December 64, because More American Graffiti was basically different years in December.
Oh, I didn't realize it. Yeah, because
there was one thing Pauline Kael was saying about she thought it was a little chauvinistic that they only showed the male characters what happened to them, not the female characters. And George Lucas basically just said it meant another slide, and it would have slowed down the ending. So, but it was a bit I felt it was a bit of a bummer that, Milner, because really everyone, even the Pharaohs guys, who start off as, what are they going to do? Everyone's really quite nice in it. You know,
Yeah.
not so really, with that tough exterior, like
Yeah.
like the Fonz would later be. But he's really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. The only one who bugged me at the time when I saw it, because I knew him from Jaws, was Dreyfus, because I even thought watching that movie, how old is he in that movie? He just seems so much older to be playing a
Really?
teenage guy. Oh, I always thought that he when I watched that movie, he seems so out of place. Every other actor seems like they're right the same age. They should be around that same age. But Dreyfus, just that
Well,
cast,
okay.
he's like over here. He doesn't
So,
blend in well.
so Richie Cunningham. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Ron,
Howard.
Ronnie Howard, and Charles Martin Smith were, I think, both 19.
Okay.
So they were the only
And
teenagers.
Paul Lamont was a veteran of the Vietnam War, actually.
He was a boxer.
Yeah.
He was older. Cindy Williams was about 6 or 7 years older than
Oh, really?
Ron Howard.
Ronnie Howard. Yeah.
And I don't think Richard Dreyfuss was too much. He was like maybe about 24, 25.
Was he really? He always comes across as like, oh, he feels like he's 30. I don't know why.
Well, I think that's sort of his, and think of the job that he's doing. He's sort of a bit older beyond his years, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and Bo Hopkins, I remember Bo Hopkins from Dynasty. He was on that show.
That's
Dynasty,
where yes.
Lynn Evans. Yeah, I remember watching for years and go, Bo Hopkins, he was from the Pharaohs, man.
Because he does seem older than everyone else.
He seems older than too. I just looked him up. I think he's only about 70 something now. I don't think he's that much older. But
did you know that the other gang member was
he played he was on Tarzan.
He was Tarzan's companion.
Well, the funnier thing is the real Tarzan, Johnny Weissmuller.
Yeah.
His son is the badass guy that beats up gets in a fight at the end with John Milner. That's Johnny Weissmuller.
I wasn't sure where he was with that.
No. He passed away a couple years back, but I remember watching the movie always thinking that the younger guy was Johnny Weissmuller Jr. He don't look anything like his dad. And then I found out in the credits, no, it's the punk guy that gets in a fight with the Toad at the end. That's who it is. One of the funniest scenes in that movie, I remember seeing it in the theater, could not stop laughing when the Toad tries to get the alcohol.
Oh, yes. Debbie,
and he goes in there, he goes, oh, yeah, I'll take a comb. And I'm like, I've got to see an ID. And, oh, yeah, I don't have an ID. I lost her in the flood. And he tells that to the guy outside. He goes, hey, buddy, could you get me some, I can't remember the booze.
Is it Old Harper's?
Old Harper. Yeah. And it's just so funny. And the guy comes running out, throws him the bottle, and then the shop owner comes out shooting the gun. I was screaming at that. It was just one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in my life. But you know who's also in that movie? I got a Raiders Lost Ark connection besides Harrison Ford. Do you know who?
No, I don't.
Well, it's an extreme one, but when they go to the arcade and they're trying to pick the lock to steal the quarters out of the machine. Yeah. Out of the pinball machines. The two guys that come in there, hey, what are you kids doing back there? Oh, is that you? Oh, Kurt, come on. And they talk to him in the back room while the guys are stealing all the change out there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you were the Moose Lodge's #1 pick for the scholarship fund. Yes. And, this place is meant for fun. The older guy, the heavier set guy, not the nerdy guy, that is a DJ named Scott Beach. Now, Scott Beach was the morning DJ in California radio that George Lucas used to listen to, and Modesto would be like, hello, you're listening to WEZN or whatever, right? When you watch the making of Raiders of the Lost Ark, the PBS special,
yes,
it's narrated by Scott Beach, because George knew Scott Beach from the radio, and he hired him to do that original Raiders of the Lost Ark public. It's a very great documentary where they show the whole making of it, and Memories, Friends, and 8x10s is the song. Anyway, that's a little Raiders connection.
That's a deep cut.
I go, Scott Beach, why do I know that name? And I go, for Ford was injured, the production would have to be shut down. Yeah, that deep Walter Cronkite voice. But anyway,
the other thing, we'll just say one other link to a previous film, apart from Walter Murch, who worked on THX 1138. Of course, the famous yellow hot rod, the number plate. I think everyone knows this. If you're watching this, you probably know this. There it is right there. And that's really nice. And what is that license plate?
That would be THX 138.
That's right.
Oh, my, first time we see that in a George Lucas movie, because that's going to appear for years. You'd see THX 1138.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Now,
This,
our usual thing. Was there any was there any merchandise or anything like that?
oh, here's some of it, and I threw the
Well,
box that this came in, but it was
that's
cool.
later on. Later on there was, but yeah, they did replica cars. There really wasn't anything. We had there was two posters. The soundtrack album poster of the fantastic Mel's Diner waitress on the roller skates. There is the Mort Drucker artwork from Mad Magazine.
Oh, Mort Drucker from Mad Magazine. Yes.
Yep. Who did American Graffiti. And funnily enough, a year later in Mad Magazine, he actually drew the send up American Confetti.
Really?
That. Yeah. But there was no merchandise because no one believed in this film. Even after it tested well, they wanted to re-edit it and everything.
Oh no, it made a lot of money though.
It did, and hence, after Star Wars, of course, that's why they thought, oh,
well,
let's make a sequel.
There is merchandise, because other than this cool car came out. I got this. This is Bob Falfa's car.
Yeah,
it's even got a little skull hanging from
the hanging skull. Yeah,
yeah, and it opens up and it's got all the doors and stuff. I picked these up around 2000. I remember they came in a big blue box, and I don't know why I threw the box away, but they made these nice replicas. They do this a lot, actually. There's been a lot of American Graffiti. There's little Hot Wheel cars that came out from Johnny Lightning.
Yes.
Those are out there. There's Mel's Diner, which is when you go to
I had lunch there the day after you left. In Hollywood, actually.
When you go to Universal Studios in Orlando, I think they might have it in the California one, but when you go there, it's set up with the cars out front, and you can go in there and it looks just like the diner. But the one that's off of Hollywood Boulevard that you're talking about, that I believe I don't know if it's just, was it there before the movie or not, but it's a Mel's Diner. It's a 50s style diner.
Yeah. But it's got all the merchandise from there. I'll put a picture up of that. And actually, while we're doing our Universal Studios tour, the back lot, they've got, like cars from the hover cars from Back to the Future 2 and this and that. And they do have some of the hot rods from American Graffiti. I did take a photo of them as they were going past. I'm sure there was, I don't know if it was Bob Falfa's, but maybe it was Milner's yellow one, but I took a photo and I'll put that up as well.
Yeah, Milner's is a 32 Coupe Deluxe.
Yeah.
And Bob Falfa, somebody's going to kill me because I'll get the name wrong. I'm going to say, well, I don't know if it's a Chevy. Yeah, it's a Chevy. It's an Impala. I don't know. Look at that. It's black.
Kelly was going, oh, this is like the Mandalorian, where Milner gives the girl the nod of that.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right.
I never thought of that. Oh, I keep forgetting about Mackenzie Phillips being in the movie. So it's a great movie. I've watched it a zillion times. I mean, I've seen it on whenever it's on, I'll watch it, or I have it. I swear they did more American Graffiti, not the sequel, but they added scenes to it because there are some deleted scenes.
So the scene where Harrison
through the
Ford,
junkyard,
where Harrison Ford is singing "Some Enchanted Evening," and also where the teacher tells off Ron Howard and Cindy
in the bathroom, go sit on a duck. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go. That's right. Yeah, that was not in it. They trimmed those, and when they did the re-release, and every release of that now has
they put that in there. Yeah. But no, it's just such a good movie. Like I said, I always remember whenever I heard the Beach Boys things that din and their faces come up at the end when the plane takes off, and it's sad. But then when you watch more American Graffiti, I don't know what the hell is going on with that one. Is that a Hayek Katz production? Is that Willard Hayek and Gloria Katz?
Oh,
together,
I didn't look much into that at all.
That's Lucas's
obviously
buddies.
George Lucas was involved at some point, but
but that came out. Oh geez, what, 79 before Empire Strikes Back?
It came out 79.
Yeah, I mean he was busy doing the Empire Strikes Back. I don't think he was too focused on doing more American Graffiti.
Richard Dreyfuss was the only one who refused to he didn't want to partake in it.
No, and I remember and the Swedish girl that Milner gets engaged to, she's really cute in this movie. I can't think of her name.
Bill Norton directed it.
Oh, that.
So do you know So he directed Convoy.
Oh, Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, and Baby Legend, Secret of the Lost Legend.
Oh, the dinosaur picture, huh?
Yep. And do you remember Back to the Beach with Annette Funicello and
yes, and the Italian kid,
Frankie Avalon? No,
Frankie Avalon. Yeah.
Was it Frankie Avalon?
Yeah, no, but Frankie and yeah, that's
Pee Wee Herman was in
Pee Wee
that.
Herman's in that. Yes, he is. Yeah, he is.
That's right. So
the late great Pee Wee Herman.
Yes. So yeah. Anyway, so American Graffiti, it is out on Blu-ray, though it's harder and harder to find
is it
physical copies anymore.
Oh, really?
Well, now that they're getting rid of everything, you know.
I know, especially in Australia. Good luck.
Oh
with
my
everything.
gosh! Well,
I saw that. I was like, there goes Ed's life.
I know.
I don't know, but no, I met Candy Clark. She was at a convention we were at. It was me, her, Dean Cain, Sean Gunn, and somebody else. We were stuck at an Elks Lodge at a Christmas Comic-Con in Massachusetts. And that was a weird pairing. I mean, we were backstage. It wasn't well attended. Me and Sean Gunn were drinking.
Yeah.
And Candy Clark was just telling us stories about working with David Bowie in The Man Who Fell to Earth. I mean, Candy Clark's not a one-hit wonder. She went on to other stuff. You know?
Yep. She did. And she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Which was weird because I'm like,
I would have thought Cindy Williams or one of the others, but it was,
I thought Mackenzie Phillips was really cute in this movie. I thought she was always fun.
She was good. I mean, the little pair ups, I think, worked really well, and how everything came together. It's a fantastic film.
It is.
Go see it. You know what else?
Watch it.
Yeah, you know what else you should watch, Mitch?
Us?
Yes.
I know, right?
How can you find out about some of our 80+ episodes on Pop
I know,
Culture?
right? It's been over 3 years of this. 3 years.
Wow.
One day we'll be on our 50th anniversary special. We'll just be AI. There won't be us anymore. Support the rights, man.
That's right. That's right.
I'd love that. But no, all you got to do, it's as simple as like going to an empty DJ booth and talking to the overnight DJ, and as he lies to you and says he's really not the Wolf Man.
That's right. Really... And with all those frozen popsicles
that
are melting everywhere.
Have a popsicle. Come on. All you do is hit the subscribe button below, and you will go on a trip with me and Ed down to what was the main drag? I can't think of it. But anyway, you go on a trip to us and talk about movies, TVs, toys, and more right here on Mitch and Ed's Excellent Adventure, cruising down the streets on the almighty YouTube. We're like a drag race, aren't we?
I think more drag than race, I think.
We're more drag than race.
On that note, this is Ed Dollister.
And this is Mitch Daddy O'Halleck.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
More drag than race. What the?